Hi. So we're going to show you now how to set up and run the 2Earth model that you're going to find in the ERC kit. So one of the first things that you're going to want to do is find a tabletop that you can secure the light to. So what you can see here is we've clamped the light onto the side of this table, and we even used some duct tape to secure the power cord. It's a good idea so the lamp doesn't end up crashing onto the floor. You also want to make sure that the light is angled right down at the floor. We have a height about 19 inches, which is pretty good because you don't want the light to be too close to the bottle or it might get too hot and melt the plastic. If it's too high up, you might not get good results.
And you really want it angled straight down, because if it's tipped, and I'd be careful with this part, you'll get more erratic data. So the best data is gathered when it's pointing straight down.
So what you might want to do once you have the lamp set up to the table, turn on the light and look at where the light is shining onto the floor. So this is where you're going to want to put the bottles.
Kind of center them right in that most lit zone.
You also want to position the dials of the thermometer so that the students can read both of the thermometers at the same time. They should also be careful that when they put the thermometer through the bottle, the end of the temperature probe isn't touching the rocks, but it's touching the bottle on the other side, about an inch or so up off the surface of the rocks.
We have 100 milliliters of water in our Erlenmeyer flask, which we will be running the experiment with, producing carbon dioxide and water vapor with Alka-Seltzer.
So there's the setup. What we're going to do is we're actually going to start. So we're going to take 1 tab of Alka-Seltzer, we're going to drop it into the flask. We're going to have our timer ready, and once I drop it in, we're going to put the cap on and we're going to wait 90 seconds.
I'll start our timer. Okay, here we are coming up on 90 seconds. We'll add a second Alka-Seltzer. Cap it and wait 90 more seconds. Here we are coming up on 3 minutes. We're going to add our third Alka-Seltzer.
Now at this point, the students are going to start collecting data. You're going to turn on the light. They're going to take their initial temperature readings, which right now looks like they're both about 78 degrees. Every 60 seconds, they're going to get a new temperature reading over 8 minutes and see what happens.
One of the things, another thing to be careful of when you're running the experiment, is that any air currents at all in the room can affect the data. So it's important to talk with the students about being still and quiet at their stations, not moving around. That will give you better data. The other consideration that I've seen affect the data that you get is the air currents in the room itself coming from air vents. And so think about where you place the lamps in the stations, and potentially even covering the vents temporarily so that you minimize those air currents. Great.
Good luck.
Good luck.